Hello, everybody. I am Angela Rodriguez, and I'm the head of strategy at Alma. I'm delighted to be here with you guys today.
Hi, everybody. I'm Javier Martin. I'm the Global Brand Development Director for QuickBooks. So I work at Intuit. And QuickBooks is a financial management software to run your business as a small business owner or mid-market owner. And maybe I take the clicker. We are here today to talk about our Think Otter campaign, which was a campaign that we developed as a integrated campaign. So it was end-to-end, not only on TV. It was really intended to help small business owners, Hispanic small business owners in particular, to level up their business. And the challenge was that most Hispanic small business owners, and maybe some of you are business owners or you know Hispanics who have small businesses, they didn't believe that investing in technology and financial management software is really necessary. So that was the challenge. How do we convince, how do we persuade small business owners that are Hispanic, that are maybe first or second generation here? How do we convince them that having a financial management software really helps to level up their business? So we did a little bit of research on Hispanics, and obviously we had an amazing partner with Angela from Alma. And I'm sure everybody knows Alma, the agency, is a multicultural agency. And we brought them in to really help us understand Hispanic small business owners a little bit better. So we did some research, and what we learned is that Hispanic small business owners are feeling many times overwhelmed and stressed because of the financial burden. And keep in mind that many small business owners, especially Hispanics, having a tough time getting loans because they don't have the documentation, they don't have the credibility, they don't have the resources to really get loans from banks, so their finances are many times a big burden for them. And we also uncovered that while it is a burden, they are willing to get financial advice and they're willing to pay for it. So we felt like, okay, that's a good point. They're at least open to it. And we also uncovered that many of them do small business because they aspire to a better life. They aspire to have a higher social status, and maybe also get recognition from their community. So those three insights we felt were quite encouraging to us to see there is the desire and there is the openness to get rid of that burden, or at least lighten that burden. And that was really the approach that we took. We felt like, hey, we have to find a way to show Hispanic small business owners that QuickBooks can help them to lighten that burden that they have with their finances.
Yeah, so that logical approach, or to keep with the theme of today, would have been the unbrave approach, right? The easy thing and really the right thing to help Hispanic small business owners grow. But when we know people, we heard this morning, you've got to have that intimacy, go beyond the demographics and understand them. We knew that there was something a lot deeper that could help us connect with this consumer, with Hispanic small business owners, and kind of help them get over that gap of not considering QuickBooks to be a solution. These are groups, these are business owners who are less confident than non-Hispanic small business owners. When we looked at the data, we saw that they felt that they were less capable than most people. They were really, really reliant on seeming modest to others. So even though they were trying to grow a business, that perception of humility is really important to them culturally. They found themselves very rarely in positions of leadership compared to non-Hispanic small business owners. They felt they weren't good at managing their money. So there were a lot of things that were truer for Hispanic small business owners that weren't true for other small business owners. And that was an opportunity for us. They felt less capable, less intelligent. There was this ugly truth that we found, and it was that without realizing it, they suffered from an inferiority complex. They took this really internalized, and it led them to do things that were subtle, but we felt were indicative of that inferiority complex. And what that is that they were naming their small businesses hito, which is the suffix in Spanish for small. So that mindset that they are not as capable, perhaps could not grow their business, was so endemic that their businesses were named small. So small business was just what they would always be. If you go to a Hispanic neighborhood, you're going to see, la tiendecita, little store, el rinconcito, the little corner, mercadito, little shop, right? Barcito, small bar. These are big bars. By contrast, non-Hispanic small business owners are corporations and groups, even if it's a business of 1 or 2 people. So really seeing this gave us a really important provocation, and that was that we needed to show Hispanic small business owners that just because they were a negocito, they shouldn't be powered like a negociote, and that power they could get from Intuit QuickBooks. So the single-minded proposition that we went and took to these consumers is the idea that QuickBooks empowers them with the business tools to gain the credibility they need to achieve success. It wasn't being found internal, so we're like, hey, externally, we can give you that credibility and that support. So to realize their full potential, they needed to stop thinking chiquito and think ote, right? Grandote. And we had this great partner that we brought in, Chicharito. His name is Javier Hernandez. He plays for the Galaxy now, but he's quite the star despite having a nickname of being a small P. A chicharo is a P, and it's already small, and he's a little P. So if you are trying to get beyond that think small mindset, this Chicharito, who is quite the superstar, helped us do that. Let's take a look at the case. Do I click it? Do you click it?
What is this?
Es un cafecito.
I go, dude, look at me. I'm not a ito. I'm a ande.
Latinos love to add ito at the end of their words.
Asadito, corderito.
Despacito.
Ito is a diminutive that makes everything sound really small.
Papá, ¿te puedo pedir un pequeño favorcito?
Got coquito.
Latinos even name their businesses using ito. El taquito, el sueñito, el torito. QuickBooks wanted to help Latino business owners grow, but we had to overcome a cultural habit of thinking chiquito. So we teamed up with a Mexican soccer star with an iconic ito nickname, Chicharito.
In English, my nickname means little pig.
Together, we helped Latinos to stop thinking ito and start thinking ote, or big.
Walk around any barrio and you'll find lots of small businesses just like El Mercadito, El Cafecito, El Rinconcito. We love using itos. Even I'm Chicharito. But wait, just because your name sounds small doesn't mean you can do big things. With QuickBooks, Carmencita runs her barcito like El Barzón.
The cultural nuance of the tiny business names instantly resonated with our audience. It also caught the attention of the media. We followed it up with a content series where Chicharito used his goal-scoring expertise to teach entrepreneurs how to reach their own goals.
To make a goal, you need to trust your teammates. So it's probably best not to trust your primito with your expenses.
He's got a point.
Latino entrepreneurs on social media helped us spread the mensajito even further.
Even though we have Ito in our business name, we've always dreamed big, like a negociote.
Our campaign helped QuickBooks expand its footprint in the Latino community further than ever before.
No me diga.
But most importantly, it helped business owners realize that every small negocito can grow into a big negociote.
We should celebrate with a copa. That would be nice.
Right, so it was right around the World Cup, so that's the reference to the Copa. Yeah, so the campaign did really, really well for us. It exceeded basically all of our expectations, in particular when it came to social media platforms. We exceeded our internal benchmarks as well as external benchmarks. We also used influencers to create more buzz for the campaign, and also in that regard, we got really great engagement and overall, a very positive sentiment. Usually QuickBooks has a lower sentiment score because it's a complicated tool to use for some small business owners, but it was nice to move the sentiment score to really 100% positive. And then from a PR perspective, we got really great feedback and great engagement from media outlets. And then last but not least, in terms of our core funnel metrics for the brand, it was just beautiful to see that we were really able to raise awareness with small business owners, Hispanic small business owners, really increase the familiarity with the brand, increase consideration. And this was the second part of our campaign. We started 2 years ago with also with Alma, with a Hispanic campaign, and we were able to really increase the number of Hispanic small business owners coming to the franchise, enjoying our QuickBooks, and really finding it useful to lighten their burden with their finances. And then overall, it was a really efficient and effective campaign for us. And it's just a great pleasure for us as a company. Intuit, as you may know, our mission is to power prosperity for small business owners and consumers. And it's just wonderful to see that we can really, with our products, help underserved minorities to get at the same level as everybody else in this country. So that's what we had for today, right?
Yeah, I was just going to add, for those of you who are at all interested in multicultural marketing, for this campaign, we went really deep on language and culture. So this was in English and Spanish and Spanglish across all kinds of media. So it's important to know that it wasn't just a Spanish effort. It was really reaching all small business owners who are Hispanic and kind of all ranges of cultural affinity. And I think that also helped power the effectiveness of it.
100%.
Yeah. So we definitely have time for Q&A if anybody has
plenty.
questions.
Any questions?
Hi. My question is, I would love to hear a little bit more about the insight and what led up to that small thinking, because it seems somewhat obvious, but it's also, that's one of the biggest ahas I've heard in a long time, and it's exciting to see how that connection was made. So I would love to hear a little bit more about how the team came together on that and really rallied around it for this campaign.
Yes, I can tell you what happened like from the back of the house, and it was certainly something that we talked about just culturally, this thing that we understood, hey, we call our businesses negocito, like it seems a little bit surface level, but that's why we didn't start with that. I showed you a whole graph of data points, and we went back and we're like, can we prove this in data? Does it mean something? And when you slice and dice and you go, let's look at the audience of Hispanic small business owners, what do they believe? What are their like internal feelings about their business, and how do they see themselves? It was really played out. So it wasn't just this thing that we saw out in the world and we created the whole campaign. We proved it in data that there was a driver there. We did a little bit of research with small business owners, and then, you know, the idea was born. But it, you know, you have this observation, and then does it mean anything? And we found that it did.
We do have a question from the web. What media channels do the campaign take advantage of?
I think like all of them.
Yeah, so it was a fully integrated campaign. So we were on TV. And I think one of the big learnings was that if you want to be efficient and effective, also run it on English-speaking TV. So we were on Spanish-speaking TV, English-speaking TV. We used all our social media platforms, from Instagram to Facebook to LinkedIn. We used really everything to leverage the campaign, drive the buzz. We used influencers, and we drove activities with media outlets to drive PR for the campaign. So it really was end-to-end. Every touch point was on our website as well. Every customer touch point, we tried to communicate that, we're here to help small business owners that are Hispanic.
I suppose this is a question for Angela. Was it a hard conversation to convince the client to run creative on Spanish and English media channels? What sealed the deal?
I wasn't on that conversation, but I feel.
No, I mean, just to be clear, Alma is an amazing partner, but the fact that we wanted to cater to Hispanic small business owners was not something that somebody had to tell us. That's something that we felt, that we knew. I mean, all of us are individuals as well, so we know the situations. And myself, I'm Hispanic. I know what the situations is with Hispanic business owners, and we also always look into what ethnicity is growing in terms of small businesses. And you might have seen there's a study from Stanford there's a few years ago that was basically indicating that the strongest growing segment of ethnicities when it comes to business is Hispanics by far. They're growing 2-3 times faster than any other ethnicity or the general market. So for us, it was obvious that there's a segment, there's an audience that needs to be spoken to, that needs potentially help. Again, we are in the business of driving prosperity, so we know that I think it's about 40% of applications of Hispanic business owners get accepted, so 60% get actually declined. So we are aware of those metrics. What we didn't know so well, and where we needed help, is how do we speak to them in a relevant and engaging manner that doesn't feel like we're trying to sell them something, but we're trying to help them. And that's where Alma comes in and Angela comes in. And also to the question about the insight, I mean, me, myself, being Hispanic, when I saw that insight, I was like, oh my God, it's so obvious. Everybody sees it, right? You go outside, you see the barcito, you see it, but you don't realize what is actually behind it. And I think that's the beauty of and the strength of this insight. It's the obvious that you see every day, but you don't think about it. But there's a deeper meaning behind it. And that's really where, for this campaign, we said, yeah, this campaign makes a lot of sense. But in terms of going after Hispanics, we always felt like that's an underserved segment of the population that we need to speak to and we need to try to support.
Definitely having media in both English and Spanish targeting Hispanic is a very sophisticated approach that not all marketers take yet. If they're talking to AMA, we're definitely making that recommendation that they need to be balancing that in order to connect and grow their businesses. It's not enough anymore to do just Spanish, and it's certainly not enough to do only the general market messaging to target Hispanics who have a very different mindset in many cases.
Following on that, Angela, can you talk about how you balance channel mix for this campaign with all those options?
I actually cannot because the media agency did all that. I don't know, Javier, if you...
Say it again. So
Could you speak to how you balance the channel mix for the campaign?
Yeah, AMA didn't manage the channel mix.
Well, the channel mix. So in general, in broad terms, the way we apply channel mix is how do we get the best return on investment for our media spend? How do we reach the most people and which channel has the best ROI? So that's how we determine usually what channels we go after. Now for Hispanics, as you guys know, they over-index very heavily in social channels, influencers. They're very responsive. Many of the information and education that Hispanics derive in this country is actually through social channels. So that, considering what is the return on investment, where is our audience, where do they get information, where can we be credible and engaging to them, and that determined our channel mix. But it was certainly heavy on TV, followed by social media, and then PR. I think that would be the order that I would describe how we prioritize the channels, our media channels.
Great. Anything else from the room? We thank you so much.
Thank you.